Am I the asshole for not giving a pizza away? Small background here. I own a small specialized welding shop most of the time, it's just me working, but the 3-4 days a week, I have a subcontractor that comes in. Today a guy comes in that's a cook at a local restaurant that has really good pizza. Wants small piece welded, and a couple holes drilled half-hour or so of work. I said no problem, and he asked how much, so I said bring us pizza for lunch, and that will be good. So I do the job, and the guy brings 2 pizzas and a bottle of pop for lunch. So the subcontractor and I enjoy pizza for lunch, but we had a whole pizza left over. At the end of the day we're heading home, he says to me, I'm taking that other pizza home for the wife and I. I said no, that's my pizza. He kinda laughs and grabs the pizza box. I said I was serious. He gets mad, calls me an asshole for being selfish, and the me and him are a team. I explained how it's my shop, my tools, my consumables, and me that did the job. So I'm taking it home for my supper. Am I the asshole like he thinks? Not the asshole. Dude definitely should have at least asked if you minded if he took the pizza home. To just take it was very presumptuous. Not the asshole. The pizzas were your payment. Not the asshole. You were nice enough to split it with him at lunchtime, even though you did the job yourself. It would have been rude for him to ask if it was okay to take or split the second pizza if he didn't help on the project. Assuming it's his to take, and then swearing at you is extremely rude and hostile. Not the asshole, you did the work. You got the payment. He could have easily asked. If it's me, just asking makes it likely I at least offer to split it. He could have done this differently and gotten a good compromise. Not the asshole, the pizzas were used as payment for the work the shop did in lieu of money. OP is the owner of the shop and gets to decide how this payment gets distributed. So long as your sub got paid, that's all he should get. Am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend he smells? My boyfriend and I just recently closed the gap in a long-distance relationship. I'm a 24F who loves smelling good because I grew up with a mother who never taught hygiene or did laundry correctly, so I'm super sensitive. My boyfriend 31M has to be told to wear deodorant because he says we're not supposed to wear it 24/7, but he ends up almost immediately smelling like body odor after a shower. When he gets home from work he stinks, and I started off calling it out playfully, but now like he legit stinks. If I say anything about it, he just gets so offended with me. I just want him to smell nice so I can nuzzle up next to him and not be engulfed by BO. But he acts like I am so mean for even bringing it to his attention. He's currently mad at me right now because he got in bed next to me and I told him he stinks. I love him more than anything, I just wish he cared more about how he smells. I feel like I shouldn't be close to gagging when he raises his arms in his sleep or to hug me. Am I the asshole? Is there a better way to go about it? And just think, he's been stinking of BO the entire time you were in an LDR, and you had no idea. He shouldn't be smelling like BO immediately after showering either. He's a grown man. You need to straight up tell him he stinks and needs to do something about it. No more gentle parenting. Good luck. Not the asshole. Poor personal hygiene? You want to live with that for the rest of your life? Be the woman with the smelly husband? Your kids with the smelt dad? No, he needs to address this, and if he doesn't, you're just not compatible. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. The better way is to dump him and be with a guy your own age that actually wears deodorant. Why do you, a young 24, have to tell a grown-ass 31 man to shower and put deodorant on? Are you his mommy? I'm wondering if he isn't using soap either correctly or at all. Not the asshole. I've known guys like this. They refuse to use deodorant even when people tell them they reek. I don't understand it. Ditch him. He will never be right for you. Move along. Would I be the asshole if I told my neighbor I don't want their kids on my property? I'm 33F, so I'm wondering if I'm just an old man yelling at clouds at this point. This is a long one due to my adding context, so too long did not read. At the end, where I live, I have a busy road in front of my house, and a big oval alley behind with a few houses. In the alley directly behind my house is my neighbor Jack. Jack is in 60s and his adult son, Art, daughter-in-law and their kids have moved into Jack's house. Art has 5 children, 2 boys, 3 girls, all in different ages, but definitely ranging from 5 to 13. I think only the 2 boys are Art's biological children, and I mention this because the kids in question are only the girls. I've never seen Art redirect or discipline the girls. Unlike the boys, who Art usually steps in to parent and is more hands-on. I'm not sure though. I don't know the wife's name or anything about her, but she really rubs me the wrong way. Aside from wife being a bad dog owner, her girls are a handful. They run around the alley screaming and yelling, run through everyone's yards, touching things in those yards. I'm all about kids having space to exist, but I think a lot of that involves being respectful and responsible. They do not have permission to run amok in my yard or anywhere on my property. Neither I nor my husband have been asked or approached about permission. Back on Halloween, it got dark and Art's family congregated in front of my house on the busy roadside. No big deal, it was dark and my porch light was bright enough to make it a safe place. Until wife told her girls to run through my yard back to their house. I stood up and said, "Please don't, I don't want anyone falling down the hill." This hill in question is small, but extremely steep, like almost a drop-off. The ground isn't level, and my dog loves to dig, and we haphazardly fill in the holes because we don't really care. So it's not a safe place to be in the dark. Wife didn't like that, rolled her eyes and told them to use the access road to the alley instead. Come this past weekend. Art is having a birthday party for one of the kids, and they have an excess of young girls running around. And in my yard, these girls were racing up and down the hill, hiding behind my garage, and generally playing in my yard. I asked my husband if they had permission. He said no, no one asked. It really upset me. Not only am I worried about their safety, but any legal issues that might happen. And just ask. It's not hard to catch me. I practically walk my dog every 30 minutes. Would I be the asshole if I approach her and tell her I don't want her kids in my yard for safety reasons and to protect myself legally? I'm really worried she'll make a fuss about me being a Scrooge and not letting kids play. I also don't want her blasting/doxing me on the internet. Too long did not read. Neighbor kids run amok on my property. I'm worried about their safety and want to confront the mom to tell her to stop letting her kids on my property, but my husband says to let it go. If you have the means, put up a fence. Time for some dink action, build a fence. Not the asshole you are liable if they injure themselves on your property. I would phrase it as a safety concern to avoid the neighbor taking it personally. But definitely not the asshole. Not the asshole. I bet if the kids hurt themselves in your yard their parents would be upset with you. Fences make good neighbors. It's high time, put one in. The higher the better. It doesn't even matter if there is a safety issue. Unless there is some sort of legal right-of-way over your land, they are not allowed on it at all. Your husband needs to get a backbone and back you on this. Both of you go and tell Art and his wife that none of their children are allowed on your property under any circumstance unless specifically pre-agreed. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for making a big deal about my sister taking my Keurig? My 26F sister, 24F, just bought a house. She has previously been living with my parents. For context, I've been moved out for 6 years and now live about 3 hours from my parents and sister. They live in the same area. When I was in high school, I asked for a Keurig for Christmas. My parents don't drink coffee. My sister and I both used it throughout high school, and then when I moved out, I left it at my parents'. My sister continued to use it while she was living there, and I continued to use it when I visit my parents. I have a small stash of K-cups that I store at their house, so I can have a cup of coffee in the morning, and continued to clean it throughout the years. When I last went to visit my parents, I saw that the Keurig wasn't there, and I asked about it. My mom said my sister had taken it to her new house. I said it was my Keurig, and that I like to have it there, so I can have a cup of coffee in the morning during the one weekend a month I usually spend with my parents. I ended up going to Dunkin' Donuts for coffee that weekend, but I mentioned to my sister that she took my Keurig, and implied that I wanted it back. She got snippy, and said she wasn't going to buy a new one when there was a perfectly good one that wasn't being used. I told her she could consider that her housewarming gift from me then, and she said I was being an asshole. I'm considering buying a new Keurig that will almost definitely be nicer than the 10-year-old one she took for her house, on Black Friday, and leaving it at my parents' with strict instructions that it stays there. My husband said doing that is super rude, and that I should just give my sister the new Keurig as an actual housewarming gift, and bring the old one back to my parents. He thinks I am being an asshole for making a big deal about the Keurig. Not the asshole, your sister was wrong. You were using it. Your husband, however, is TA. Unpopular opinion, but thieves don't get rewards. They all knew it was yours. And you use it literally every week. It's not some dusty thing she found in an attic. You literally left it there specifically to have coffee. When you visit your parents, it doesn't mean it was up for grabs. Not the asshole. It's yours, and you were using it in a way that you wanted. She had no right to take it. Esh. She should have asked you, but you shouldn't act so outraged about a 10-year-old machine that isn't even at your house that you use rarely. This is about more than a Keurig, I think. Not the asshole, and the comments saying you are bizarre. You left it at your parents' house to use it there. It's not like you dumped it in basement storage or something. Sister is a thief who figured it was easy pickings and does not deserve a new one, much less that one. Tell your husband to butt out and enjoy your machine. Everyone sucks here, but please do not listen to these people about giving her the new machine. Why the EFF would you when she literally stole your old one?